the BCP.
Oh, I like that.
How's Lou?
Oh, I'm doing so good. Let me tell you, I discovered something last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend was Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Amy and I, being non-mothers and having our mothers live very far away, decided to go on a camping trip.
Mm-hmm.
There is no better thing to do than do an outdoorsy activity.
Mm-hmm.
We went to an area that is usually, there's a bunch of dispersed camping, and there's always like ATVs and motorcycles. There was not a single ATV, motorcycle. There were maybe 5 other campers in a place where there are hundreds of campsites.
Do you remember when we learned on this podcast that the slowest days at Disney World or Disneyland are Mother's and Father's Day?
Oh, well, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is your reminder. If you are a person out in this world who wants to go do things. And it was so funny. Susie, my girlfriend and I were just like cracking up because the only men that we saw were by themselves and kept to themselves.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
Or
that's preferred.
Or we went in this area where there was a lot of mountain biking, and there were some guys who were with the girlfriends who are like you and me, where they're very loud and outgoing, and they're like, all right, guys, we're going to go down this trail. And the guys were just quiet and nodded along.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
correct.
This is great.
These are our men. These are our women.
This is fantastic. The only other group out, lesbians with their children.
Really?
It's an ideal weekend to go do outdoor activity.
Okay, good to know.
We couldn't believe it. Everywhere we looked.
It's the worst weekend to go to brunch.
Absolutely. The worst. Don't do it. Worst weekend to go to brunch or buy flowers.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just don't.
No. And there's a lot of kind of forlorn middle-aged women wandering around being like, this isn't what I was hoping for.
Right.
Guess what I got?
What did you get?
Nothing.
Susie. No.
Yeah. Yes, I.
No, not even a. Well, you know what? Because
not even a hug. To be honest with you,
your kids out of that grade where they force them to make Mother's Day things. You know.
Yeah.
Here's your handprints in clay.
That's true. This was like a truthful Mother's Day.
Oh no.
Where it's like, what?
When left to his own.
Why would I do that?
You know.
And I was like, hey, just so you know, like. You're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that guy can't be making bets on and heavily researching, basketball and stats and forget Mother's Day.
He didn't forget. He just doesn't give a shit. And
no.
Yeah. And I was like, you're not doing it right. And then he cried and said that I was being mean.
Oh, no. That's a little classic emotional manipulation tactic. The old, yes.
Reversal.
Yes. The Uno reverse card.
I was like, okay, we're done here. We'll talk about this in 10 years.
Yeah. That's funny.
And then I will expect reparations.
Yes.
But for now, I'm just sitting over here, just waiting.
Oh, no.
Just waiting, Sarah.
I'm so sorry.
You know what?
Well, you could come camping with me and Amy next year because we're calling it the weekend, the Lesbians in Love weekend.
It's Lesbian Awareness Day and Mother's Day.
Yes, that's what we're celebrating.
That sounds really nice.
I'm really sorry that you did not.
It's okay. We mothers are used to.
Did you get to go bowling or anything?
No, I didn't. As a matter of fact.
It's a crime.
Did I tell you that story off the air or not?
Yes.
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, no, I did not get to go bowling, but you know what? I was bowling in my mind with the faces of all those I hate. No, it was fine. I have much to be thankful for, and that's true.
Well, that's true.
Yes, it is. And I'll tell you what reminds me of that, and I don't know what in God's name made me make this choice, because it's not the right time. But listen to an audiobook every day while I get ready. And I made the mistake, I guess, of choosing the Sandy Hook.
Why? What are you do? It's like you want to torture yourself.
But what I was going to say is, if you ever want to feel thankful, if you ever want to feel like your life ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Well, reading that book will do it, because holy fuck.
I mean, that's going...
Because you know how we said, like, I listen to audiobooks instead of the news. Hello?
Come on.
This is a whole 15-hour book.
Oh my God.
That is worse than the current news.
I'm getting anxiety, like, just thinking about that morning ritual.
It's so good, though. I gotta say, it's like a really beautiful and important book, but it is.
Well, you know
downer.
what? I guess starting your day with that attitude of gratitude.
It does.
It does. It's better than ending your
emotional.
day with that. Like, that would be hard. Don't read it before you go to bed.
Part of what... So ostensibly the book is... It's called Sandy Hook, but it's supposed to be about how, that was sort of the genesis of this conspiracy theory, explosion.
Yeah.
Where, like, Alex Jones and all these people were claiming it was, a government false operation and all that stuff. And I guess
saw
we'll
the
get
use
to
of it
that.
as, like, clickbait.
Yeah, it was supposed to, it's driving their profits, but it was like based in this idea that, like, the government is trying to take our guns away, whatever. And, but I'm not at that part of the book yet. I'm still in the actual, like, part about the families and stuff. And one of the more interesting parts so far has been, about, whenever there's a tragedy, and especially when it's a child or children, people, like, give and send these stuffed animals. Mm-hmm. And just how misplaced this impulse is. And you understand that people just want to be useful, and they want to feel like they're doing something to address this horrific situation, but that the way that they do it is actually burdensome.
Absolutely.
And it's not just stuffed animals. I mean, people give all kinds of things to the victims' families, like haircuts for life, and you can come here forever. And they would have to have all these, because there were 26 victims, so people were sending 26 of everything. And how the families then become completely burdened with, like, where are we going to put all this stuff, and, like, what do I do with this? And
you don't want to be, rejecting of people's generosity.
But it is just like a misplaced urge from the onlooker to be kind that is not helpful. And just, something to think about.
Yeah,
like, if you ever read a story and you think, I want to do something, I want to send them a thing, and it's just like, just don't. Just give it to your community.
Yeah, or donate money.
Yeah, even that, though, became a whole thing, because evidently, like, the main thing is, like, and I don't want to, if you work for the United Way, maybe you have a different story, but according to this, it's like the United Way has this policy where they can't give directly to people. So they got about $10 million using the Sandy Hook tragedy as, like, the pitch. And but then they had to create, like, a board of people that determines how to allocate it.
Oh my God.
And these are just, like, 5 hapless citizens who have to decide.
Why can't you just give $5 to somebody? Cash App, fucking Venmo.
I suppose you could.
That's the thing to do.
Know their thing.
Yeah.
But it became, like, this huge problem, and it, like, a lot of times your grief, if you lost somebody in that, your grief becomes, like, a way for someone else to raise a lot of money.
Oh, I hate that.
It's like compounding.
Yeah.
But
and then that money feels strange and
Meanwhile, I just kept thinking to myself, like separately, like, I just want to make brain candy fun and light.
Yeah, nothing like a light story. Well, maybe if you woke yourself up with, I don't know.
Listen, Sarah, stop judging me.
Yeah, nobody's judging here.
You are a little bit. You're like, Suze, stop bringing us down. And I'm saying, listen, I'm trying to like learn and grow. But it is a real downer.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what's not a downer.
Yeah.
And that is getting Hungry Root groceries and meals delivered to my doorstep. That is something useful.
Groceries are not getting any cheaper.
Nothing is.
It feels like I'm walking into the grocery store, spending $1 bajillion and leaving with 2 things. And I was sick of it. And that's why I love Hungry Root. Because they do like all the easy or all the stuff that's really hard for me. They make it really, really easy. A lot of times I get overwhelmed with what the heck am I going to make? They got it all planned out. And I love their meals section where you can just have like ready-made meals, like the salads and the microwave stuff and the stuff that's more of your like quick lunchtime meals or on-the-go things. Yeah. They have a little bit of everything for everybody and your pantry stuff.
Yes, they really do. And it's customizable. So if you don't happen to be a meat eater or you don't want a ton of it, or maybe you're going hard on protein, or maybe you don't want gluten, whatever it is, you can customize everything to match those specifications. And they have snacks and sweets and ready to eat meals and more complex recipe type stuff. It's so great. And you're going to love Hungry Root as much as we do. For a limited time, you get 40% off your first order, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/braincandy and use code braincandy. That's hungryroot.com/braincandy, code braincandy to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
Yes.
I love
me hungry right now.
Hungry root now.
Yes.
Get it?
That makes sense. I like that.
Okay. First,
what you got for me?
Say it again.
I said, what you got for me?
Well, I mean, I know it's sort of like beating a dead horse, really, but I couldn't resist. There was an article in the Atlantic.
Which nobody is doing.
Yeah. Why did that even become
no
sort of a
idea.
cliche? Someone must have done that.
Yeah, and said, that's overkill.
Literally.
Hate that.
That's probably where that word came from.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, who's even thinking that?
Who's even thinking that? Right.
Too much kill.
Crazy. Anyways.
Okay. Well, we hate mountaineers, and we especially hate all the nonsense at Everest. But there was an article in the Atlantic that I just couldn't resist, and it was by the author of Into Thin Air.
Oh, yes.
John
yes.
Krakauer. Did you read it?
Did I read it? That's a good question.
It was pretty new in the last couple weeks. And it was about,
Wait.
He wrote...
Into Thin Air is a new book?
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's 30 years old.
That's what I was thinking. You said it was pretty new.
I meant, did you read the article?
Oh, okay. Because I was like, no, that book is old as fuck. What? Okay, yes, I did not read the article. Okay. I may or may not have read Into Thin Air.
Okay, Into Thin Air is the story of, climbing Everest and the tragedies that can befall the people who do it. And it's a true story about mountaineers who died. And he wrote it with the intention of sort of being a warning.
Like, don't do it.
Go chasing waterfalls kind of deal. Like TLC, R.I.P. Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
And a lot of mountaineers.
And so many stupid ass mountaineers. And he is writing now for the Atlantic saying his book had the opposite effect. That despite trying to be, the canary in the coal mine, he ended up accidentally attracting all these adrenaline junkies and these risk takers who were like, I can do it. And as a result, we have seen all these stupid ass viral photographs from Everest and base camps where it's just line upon line of Patagonia gear.
Yeah. Oh my God.
These fuckers waiting to climb Everest.
Right.
But go ahead.
No, this feels very similar to the Into the Wild story.
Yeah.
You know, where that guy, where he died, and that bus that was out in the middle, and they had to like airlift the bus out of there because so many people kept on going out to try to find it.
See the darn bus.
Right.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Fuck. What are you doing? And it's white people specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
But this article was so good because it was full of information, but it was also like, I mean, obviously he's such a great writer, but he did it in a way that by the end you're just like, what are you all doing?
Yeah. Okay.
So he climbed Everest in 1996. And at that time, he was the 621st person to arrive since the mountain was first summited in 1953. So not that many people in 40 years.
Yeah.
But in
first summited by a white person.
I guess, yeah. So then in the 30 years since, there have been 13,000 people.
Because I'm just saying, I bet there are Sherpas and people who have been there that were not recorded that, you know, have gone to the top and weren't like making a big fucking deal about it.
Yeah. But like sort of the
1,000, that's an exponential growth like you never would believe.
Yeah. And these were almost entirely made up of clients of these commercial guiding companies. So this whole industry sprung up around it that was inspired by this demand. And so from like 1921 to 1996, 1 out of every 5 climbers died.
Oh my God.
Like compared, like 1 person died for every 5 that made it to the top. That was from 1920 whatever to 1996. Then from 1996, then the next like 30 years, the ratio became 1 person died for every 68 that made it to the top.
Is it the introduction of the air, like the oxygen?
Things kept improving. The gear, the weather tracking, all of that improved. And then since in 2025, that ratio became 1 person died for every 173 climbers. And that's what they said. It was like weather forecasting. It's still very dangerous.
Yeah.
But to go from 1 to 5 to 1 to 173 is huge.
Yeah.
And it was like weather forecasting, gear, oxygen masks being more efficient, then getting extra oxygen canisters, basically having
probably
the
rescue
stuff that
abilities,
you need. Yeah. And then of course the Sherpas.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference they said was the power transfer from like basically it being just sort of whatevs to the Nepali people running the show and basically these experts saying here's when you should do it, here's how you should do it, and people starting to respect them.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So that's good. They're making a difference. But what I loved about the article is that he's pointing out that that's great that people aren't dying as frequently, but a lot of the reason that they're not dying is not because they are better athletes or like more knowledgeable. It's because they're relying upon all this stuff.
Right.
Sort of makes the accomplishment meaningless.
Right.
What made it such an incredible accomplishment at one time?
Was doing it that stripped down version. And yeah, I see that it's almost more, that this is like
artificial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
This is
I
supported
feel like
with the
what
handicap.
made the article like so effective was at the end, he was like, hey, listen, if you want to honor the mountain's, historic stature and avoid all those people that are so annoying, and you should attempt your ascent in the winter when it's super snowy. You should stay away from those guided routes and take that direct route up that north face. And you probably won't meet any other people. And you will have the adversity you desire so badly. And you will have a greater chance of getting killed.
Yeah, you might die.
And basically, the people that do it now want to do it with as little risk.
Yeah, all the reward, none of the risk.
So he's basically like saying you are pussies.
Yeah.
And we agree.
Yeah, I think that you shouldn't do it to begin with. And I think that nature has a way of, there's a reason why you don't make it on those. Why like it gets to a point where nature goes, no, you shouldn't be here. And we should listen. Whether that's diving down real deep and submarines collapse, or going really high and we get taken out by a blizzard. I think we should be listening to Mother Nature when it says,
yeah,
no trespassing.
Yeah, do it without a coat. Just do that.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're a tough guy. You can
This
climb Everest.
is running away. This is, these people aren't in therapy. They're just not. They're just not.
Yeah. So I really loved it. It was in the Atlantic and people would enjoy reading it, I think. I'll tell you what I would rather do than climb Everest, and that is just go ahead and crawl right into bed in my cozy earth sheets and blankets. And just watch a documentary.
That has one of your W's, which is warmth.
Yeah, baby.
But also, if you get too warm, no problem.
Moisture wicking.
And temperature regulating.
Another W.
Oh,
yeah.
That is a W. Very good.
Yeah.
And temperature regulating.
Yes. And that everybody benefits from sleep. Everybody benefits from those hours of your life where you're supposed to restore your mind and your body.
Yes.
Get a breathable, lightweight jogger set.
Yeah.
Crawl into those sheets that have a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Another W that I love.
Yes.
And thank me later. And Sarah's going to get the clogs. I want a review of those. God.
I should get those. That's been on my list. I forgot about those. Yeah.
Yeah. And buy them on me and then report back.
Tell you what they think.
Yeah. This spring, give yourself the kind of comfort that lives with you all day, not just the moment you get home. Head to CozyEarth.com and use our code BrainCandy for an exclusive 20% off. And if you see a post-purchase survey, mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Brain Candy Podcast. Comfort lives here at Cozy Earth.
Yes.
All right.
That makes me want to go to bed right now. Anyways.
Me too.
I love sleep.
Okie dokers. So that was fun.
Oh, this is what I wanted to say about Everest and those kind of people. You were saying something a while back, maybe it was even on the podcast, where you were talking about how, you feel for people with ADHD living in this modern world because you see how their brains work. And I've been thinking about that and about how, I don't know, different times would benefit from, or different brains would thrive in different times. Yeah. And I think about the kind of person who wants to go and explore Mount Everest or go and do something really hard like that, and how that could have, if maybe we redirect that, or if that same person.
Do you think
like,
these
we need
people tend to be that
explorers.
kind? Like ADHD people?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm just saying, like, what.
Oh,
I was
that we should channel their whatever that is.
Yeah. Like I was thinking about how, wow, it's going to be, my brain thrives with like things that are new and things that are changing, but also a routine. And wow, doesn't living on a farm, like scratch that itch, because you got to be very routine, but also things are always changing and you got to be quick thinking and, blah, blah, blah. So I just makes me think about when a lot of times the same skills that can get us into trouble in some areas can be really helpful in others. And maybe we don't thrive in some scenarios and would in others. So it just makes me think, like, 1,000 years ago, what would people who had that urge to go do that, what would they be doing? And is it kind of like Lewis and Clark? Like, it makes you think maybe that's not the worst thing, but, you pair that with some other stuff and it's gross.
I mean, I think it's evident that these are, I don't want to say the word because it's so stigmatized, but it's like the addictive personality.
Yes,
They're like all in, and that they believe that they're channeling it in like a healthy way, because this is like requires physical fitness and
like
adventure.
That could have been like really helpful if you were like, I swear there's a body of water over there we have to get to, and like driving a tribe to some new place with different resources or something like that. This like trust in like, it's going to be there and I can get over it, whatever. And I don't know.
That personality though I don't think it's a problem that they like to like push limits and go hard. It's just that it does feel like there's no bottom, like or top, as it were.
Yeah.
Like it feels like once they get it, then they need a next thing.
Yeah, and you told me to watch that documentary, which I did, and we will call that, I always say free solo.
She means what's it called? The Danger... Dark Wizard.
The Dark Wizard, yes.
Yeah. About the climber guy.
I always said...
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yes. When Free Solo came out, people would ask me like, oh, you love climbing, did you watch that? And I said, oh, you mean the #1 horror film of 2020 or whenever that movie came out? And this is the #1 horror film of 2026.
Why?
That was so scary. There were parts that I had to fast forward. I knew that he lived in certain part, obviously. But
Free Solo?
No. I knew that in the Dark Wizard, that certain climbs that he was doing, I knew that he was going to survive those, because obviously he went on and lived a little bit longer. Spoiler alert. He's died. But I knew that he was going to survive the climbs that he did, and I could not watch them. I had to fast forward, or like I had so much anxiety secondhand for this guy doing this insane stuff. I don't even know what got me started about talking about this, but I just have a lot of emotions about
just
that.
The adrenaline junkies, that there's sort of end
there's
story.
And all it takes is 1/2 second, and you keep pushing it, get closer, get higher, get more, like, there's only one way that ends.
Yeah. And
death.
It's usually driven by what he even said himself, ego.
Yeah.
That it's not just the adrenaline, it's the glory. It's being the guy.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and that made me hate Alex Honnold even more.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What a
that
dickhead.
Guy is
and
such
he's doing
a
that
dick.
interview knowing that this guy died.
Yes.
And he's still just sort of like, yeah, I don't care.
He's like, screw him. Suck to suck is basically his attitude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sick.
Yeah. So like that, impulse, which a lot of people have addictive components to their personalities that don't manifest in these like Everest or free solo ways.
Right.
But that this particular like adrenaline version feels like very toxic to me.
It is, because it absolutely is. And I'm glad that people are talking about this more, because it's very interesting to hear hear men discuss that film and women discuss that film. Mm. Women are absolutely quick to point out the toxic masculinity. And I think a lot of the men that I have, I'd say within my family, recognize that this was a guy whose ego was getting in the way, but and even I read something that was like written up about him and about this, and it felt like almost honoring him or praising him.
This film felt like that.
Okay. That too.
Even.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just sort of like, yeah, he's flawed and like he did like some things that were like boop boop. But wow.
Right.
And it's like, really?
And they all recognize what an ass he was.
Because you see the way people talk about Mother Teresa, and there is this reverence, but there is not like this. There is not this same level of awe.
Right.
That it is more remarkable to do what she did,
right,
than to do what he did, which is just swinging his dick around. That's what that is.
Yeah, jumping off high stuff.
And yet it's very relatable to all these men where they're like, I kind of wish I could do that. I want to swing my dick around too.
It's a way of saying I have control over this thing that is uncontrollable.
Exactly. That is exactly right. And that is why him scaling that, I always say it wrong, but delicate arch or whatever it's called.
Fragile arch, whatever.
Fragile, delicate, whatever the word
whatever,
is.
You're right. You might be right.
No, I don't know.
Idea.
It feels like that because it's sort of like how in the Bible it says like you have dominion over the animals, and then conservatives use that as like, what, we got dominion, baby. And it's like, we can do whatever we fucking want. No, that means care, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what that felt like to me. A very sort of like, I'm better than this.
Right. And that's
nature.
The difference. I think yes, agreed. I think that is often a very, like, I hate to stereotype, but masculine trait.
Yeah, and I say sit the fuck down. And that's actually what I love about the Jesus template, is that he was a champion for the weak, the meek, the oppressed, the poor. All the people that were considered lesser than.
Yeah.
He wanted them to be. That was what the Beatitudes were about. That's the Sermon on the Mount. That is him flipping the script, saying, no, they're above you. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the meek. And that is why it's revolutionary.
Yes.
And that these men are just reinforcing a dick swinging contest. Right. And everyone's like, whoa, big fucking deal.
Big fucking deal.
Give me Gandhi, baby.
Yeah, man.
It makes me so mad, and it's so obvious.
I love Fired Up Susie. Yes.
Don't you feel like it's obvious and like they're missing it?
Yeah, because we don't put Gandhi on, or these people on the North Face ads.
Yeah. Right. It is harder to, it stretches your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta think for 5 fucking seconds and be
doesn't
like, wow,
sell
that
jackets,
is actually
doesn't
amazing.
sell parkas. Right.
It's actually amazing to be humble and way fucking harder.
Right.
Dean.
I agree. It's
Thanks for
the guy. There was a guy in that film or documentary or whatever that used to do, like, a lot of the guys who used to do all of the flight stuff, who then recognized that maybe they needed to change their life, create more balance. Like, you can see
the maturity.
Yes.
Yeah.
The healed place that they're in, the perspective that they have, the awareness that they have of how, you know.
I get that. I get that until you're 25. Mm-hmm. And then grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
All at use.
Yeah. You could see the ones who did and the ones who didn't.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'll
tell you what people love of every age, and that's caraway cookware and bakeware.
Yes. You can probably get equally as fired up about caraway bakeware.
I actually can.
Absolutely.
That's true, because it is perfect and amazing.
Yes. Every time I cook an egg and it just slides right out, I feel like a master chef.
Yeah. Who is that? I mean, come on. Is that Ina Garten over there?
Yeah. What the heck? Who am I? Top Chef, look out.
Right. It's farmer's market season. Go get your fresh veg. Go get your amazing ingredients, but then come back and cook them in your Dutch oven or your saucepan. And you'll be like, Suze, Sarah, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And it'll look really beautiful.
Yeah, well, they have a million colors. And like, I know most people get like the cream, the like subtle, but I say splash out.
I don't know if most people do. I think most of our listeners like to a pop of color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get a pop of color.
The blue is gorgeous.
And like, you know how everyone has like a white or gray kitchen now? So like, have your cookware be the beautiful color in it.
Yes.
I mean, it's perfect to have round, and it is the perfect thing to have forever, because these are your freaking forever pieces. And now they have barware, they have butcher blocks, they have everything. And they have glass airtight storage, which is awesome too.
Yes. My friend has the entire set of those, and they are wonderful.
And it's like non-stick, but non-toxic. And right now you can save up to $230 on that 12-piece cookware set versus buying them individually. Plus, if you want to include their fan favorite minis duo, you can save up to $350. Visit carawayhome.com/braincandypod to take an additional 10% off using code braincandypod on your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/braincandypod or use code braincandypod at checkout.
Yes.
Okay. Did you read? Well, I mean, this isn't really that big of a deal, but just as an aside,
tell me.
Did you read about those twins in the UK with different dads?
No. Dude, this kind of stuff is fascinating to me.
How's that work?
So is this sperm? She basically had sex with two people within
like her fertility window.
Her fertility window.
So
one
within a couple
fertilized
days.
one egg, one fertilized another egg, and both grew inside of her.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The
likelihood of that happening?
It's very rare. Very rare. And these ladies, they do look alike and everything. So, like, I don't know what it was, but one of them just always felt like she wasn't buying that the dad, the mom said was her dad. Whoa. And so she took like a test, but I don't really know how she got the sister to do it too. You know, because like if you take the test.
Well, I don't know if you have to they just take a piece of your sister's hair.
Well, but true, but she did get the sister to agree to do it eventually, because the results came in and her dad was not the dad the mom said, and she told her sister, and then the sister took the test and her dad was not that dad either, but it was somebody else.
Whoa.
So I think there were 3 dudes.
Whoa. So there was the guy raising the kids. Then
none of them were raising the kids. This was a mom that had some troubles, you know what I mean?
I see. Okay.
They didn't have like a dad in their life, and they didn't have really a mom that was functional.
Okay.
But neither of them have the dad that the mom said was the dad.
Jeez.
And the article, this was in The Guardian, but it was basically saying how rare it is. That there's only a couple hundred cases they even know of.
Yeah.
That have happened like this, but just that it's unbelievable because, okay, so twins, let's say identical twins, they have almost 100% shared DNA.
Yeah.
And then fraternal twins are just like regular siblings. That's 50%.
Right. These guys,
25% only.
So they're more like
half. They are twins and half siblings.
Siblings. Whoa!
Can you believe that?
That's really crazy to think about. That they shared a womb.
They were born
they did
at the
not
same time.
Share a dad.
Didn't share a dad. So they have 25% same DNA, but they
look a lot alike.
Yeah. Wacky tobacco.
It sure is.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, any of these stories, even if it's about adoption, anything like that, you start to see like the complexities of identity.
Yep.
How you see yourself.
That felt
matters.
sense. That's really interesting.
And how people like that didn't know they were adopted or didn't know that their dad was a donor or something like that feel very disoriented. That's
why it's so important to be upfront and honest and talk about these things. I wonder what the feeling is for people who grew up in a family where it was very out in the open and they were really, upfront about discussing the adoption process or how that baby came to be or whatever it may be.
I guess it depends on their experience within their adopted family or whatever.
Yeah.
But also then there's the difficulty of like, do you want to meet your biological family and how that can feel when you're the adopted parents, and it can feel like hurtful because they're just your DNA, but we raised you and loved you. Like there's a lot. It's hard.
And identity is such a layered and difficult thing that even without all of this stuff, that's why therapists are so helpful. That's what we talk about. It's so important because where else do you get to talk about this stuff?
Yeah, the ideas about blood, like
who you are
and why it matters.
Yes. And then what do you do with that?
Sometimes that's when people meet like their birth family, they really do feel like like a relief almost, like these people and it's complicated. Mm-hmm. And that's why like when people, a lot of anti-choice people will be like, you should just give your baby up for adoption, like as if it's just like
just so easy. Right.
And like,
it is
then
so
case
complicated.
Closed.
Yeah.
That's not how it is.
No, not at all.
It's fraught.
It's really
that was an interesting read.
That's interesting.
Like, makes you think about all that stuff. Okay. I wanted to talk.
I would be so upfront and open about all of that if I ever had a child.
Have you thought about that? Adoption?
Not now.
Oh.
But in the past, I have. Just like, now I just want to adopt animals, so different.
Yeah, that is different.
Less complicated.
way better. Yeah. For you.
For me.
Yeah. For Sarah Louise. Okay. The next article I wanted to read or I wanted to discuss was on eon.org, which is about, you know how like marathon winners now are almost exclusively African. Like Kenyan, Ethiopian runners. I mean, they dominate the field. And so this article was exploring the approach that they take to training.
Yeah.
And comparing it to like more of like the United States or quote unquote Western approach. And it was just trying to parse how the American or Western approach is very data driven and more like those fucking weirdo Brian Johnson longevity people.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to track our electrolyte, metabolite, blah, blah, blah. And it's all this like gobbledygook about the oxygen.
Right.
Whatever.
Which is like just gives you stats, which then aren't even that helpful anyway. Like,
and then supposedly this is the science, and you eat at this time and you sleep this long and you run this far and you do this. And the African approach is in complete contrast to what supposedly science tells us we ought to be doing. Because the way that they do it is intuitive and communal. They do it as a group. And it involves an idea, instead of thinking of yourself, the runner, personally, individually, as like, okay, you have like an energy resource and that you're maintaining that energy level, and whether that's calorically or water, hydration or sleep or whatever. They are doing it as a collective resource. So like we as a collective have this much energy.
Wow, that is so good for your brain.
Right. And it includes ideas of sacrifice, that like if the lead runner, they have one person that's sort of meant to come up with the trail, lead the rest of the group, and they choose these zigzaggy ways, and they purposefully do ones that like you do really slow, like uphill, and like with tree roots and all this stuff that you have to traverse, because they believe that that allows the body time to recover between like really fast bits.
Yes.
And
that's why I love trail running.
If the leader kind of fucks up and does it wrong and like messes the group up, then they have to give like their bananas and stuff to the group. And so it involves like sacrifice and like accountability in a way that certainly like American runners are not doing. Like they're not giving up their yogurt.
I am fascinated by this, and I absolutely love this idea.
Yeah, me too.
We are communal beings, and we thrive when we are in a group. We feel like part of a team, when we feel like we are doing something. Oh my gosh. It's like the opposite of the like American individualism. And I really like that. And I really love the idea of a communal resource of energy, because then there are times we all go through the waves of feeling like, oh, I don't want to stop. I don't want to, or I'm feeling really good, or I can't do it right now, you know? And if your mind believes that when your resources are low, you can just borrow from your neighbor, you'll get through tougher stuff. That's like a metaphor for fucking so much. Even like why we need to know our neighbors, and like
what we're losing by
why I want to have like block parties and, you know, cookouts and stuff with people in my neighborhood someday.
Two of the parts that stood out to me the most were about how like it said that the ability to run in a way that protects your own energy and other people's energy is seen as the primary skill of an endurance athlete. So it's not just focused on you. And furthermore, in the US, so much of the messaging of an endurance sport, and we heard this on the challenge, is about suffering, pushing harder, suffering more, descending deeper into this like pain cave.
And trim the fat. Get rid of those other people So it's just you. You could just be the fewer people, the better.
But the best athletes in the world are concerned with restraint, not pushing further.
Love that.
And I think that's important. They're dominating. You can't deny it. We're blowing the whistle.
Blowing the whistle on what it really takes. What it really takes.
On individualism. Fuck off.
Yep.
So there you go. That was a great article.
Man, where is that?
Eon.org. AEON.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's a really important reminder, and just like a really like you can apply that to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Just think about that. Wow.
Okay. Question.
Answer.
What do you think about quote unquote unwritten rules?
Oh.
Like,
well, usually I'm pretty pro.
Can you think of an example?
Like,
you mean like decorum? You mean like
chewing with your mouth closed, unwritten rule.
Yeah, there's no law. Yeah.
Let me think of some other ones that.
Yeah, civility you're talking about. What about in sports? What about in sports?
Well, I don't like the unwritten rules when there's stupid fucking things like you got to wear white tennis shoes or.
That is a great example of like
written or unwritten.
I mean, yeah, because in tennis they actually did write them down.
Right. Tell me why. Fuck all the way off. And don't say because of tradition.
Tradition. They love that one. They love that.
Because chances are good that tradition was created when a lot of people couldn't participate.
That's right.
And it's meant to signal something.
Okay.
I'm looking at you, lawn bowlers.
That's so specific. That's a really good point. Because, yes, usually these quote-unquote unwritten rules, especially around, like, decorum and stuff, are meant about, like, exclusion of underprivileged people. Okay. What about... And I never really played sports, but I suppose... Do you know this idea? Like, let's say your team is crushing.
Oh, yeah. I'm for this.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you sort of to be like a decent team or something, you make the choice of like, we're going to take it down a notch. We aren't going to like make it into a bloodbath.
I say I don't make it into a bloodbath because that's nobody wants that or needs that. It's not good for anybody. What I don't think you should do is just let the other team win, kind of, or let the other just like play easy. What I think that team that's winning by a lot should do is use that as an opportunity to rotate positions, put in players who aren't playing, like do that kind of thing.
I mean, to act like it's sacrificial is false because that then protects those players from injury.
Yes.
They get to rest and recover. So, I mean, it's not altogether charitable. It can benefit you too whilst you still win the game.
Yeah. I'm pro that. But I do not like the whole we're going to just slaughter them. And of course, I did kind of do that when I played water polo. I was like, I'll just keep scoring points. I don't care. And I was selfish, and I pass it around to let other people score.
I don't so much mind that, but like I'll give you an example. Last night, Lincoln's game, he knew going into it, their opponent's the number one team. It was going to be horrible. We were braced for it, and it was 12-0 at the end. Okay, we got what we knew was coming. What I really didn't love was like the other parents. Every moment being like psyched out of their mind.
That's dumb.
Where I just went to my car because I didn't want to like. I'm not going to engage it. Obviously, I'm not going to like say anything. But I'm just sort of like, my God, these are children. Like, right? But
man,
I don't really mind the players. I would have wanted
to have a conversation with those and just been like,
believe me, I did want to.
Oh my God. This is
because like I
I'm glad
wanted to
don't
just
have
be
kids.
like,
I
you
would
know that
totally
I
be-
have ears, right?
Yeah.
Like I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and I would just be like, I wonder. I like to just ask a question. I wonder what this is teaching your children.
I'm definitely never doing that though.
I would do
because
that.
It would escalate too quickly. I would.
Yeah, they're already hopped up on fucking adrenaline and point scoring and all
Because
that.
it's clear though in those moments that you're dealing with kind of like stage mom
Yes,
or dad types.
I know the type, and they love being the team that's undefeated. They connect on that. They toast at the bar afterwards. That they like blah blah blah. I get it. I know
And
that type.
It would devolve too quickly into me saying things I would regret. But anyway, okay. There was an article in the the Athletic, New York Times Athletic Sports section area, where they were talking about a basketball game where it was like a clear winner situation. The team was like 14 points ahead or something like that. And then that same team scored again, like did a drive, and it was like a demonstrative and very like,
Yeah.
and this player just ran down the court to like, fight the guy that had scored because he was like, that is gross. Basically that is gross.
Yeah. Bad sportsmanship.
Low hanging fruit. Yeah. Bad sportsmanship. And he was saying like, there's an unwritten rule that you don't do that.
Yeah.
And the Athletic was saying like, is there? Like, and why?
There kind of
Especially in
is.
professional sports, it seems a little bit weird because like they're big boys, they can handle it. But I mean, I guess I wonder like, what is the thought?
I think that when you're an athlete at that level, you understand like sports psychology, and you understand what happens, what can happen in a player's mind when they have like a losing streak, like that's like a really a mental thing.
Yeah.
Like
the yips.
Yeah. And I think that kind of maybe would contribute to causing that a little bit. Another team being not like but it's just, I do like that good sportsmanship. There's because it follows just the basic golden rule of like do unto others. Like I wouldn't want that done to me, and I wouldn't do it because like that sucks. That's why I would go like, I want to be like, I wonder what's going to happen if your kid's ever losing like to that other team.
Why it caught my eye too was that the guy that scored the basket, and this was with 1 to 2 seconds left in the game. There was no need for it. Whatever.
I see. Yeah.
He was a black guy, and the guy that ran down the court was a white guy. Basically saying like, we don't do that.
Oh, I don't like that.
But you see what I mean? How once you see more of the context, you think like, what are we enforcing? And like, why? I mean, I can understand being annoyed internally, but I can't imagine running the length of the court to enforce
now
this
I don't like it.
Unwritten rule.
Because there shouldn't be. You don't need to do that.
No,
he went
I know
over
you
the
would
board.
never.
He went over the top too. It's
Yeah.
more like this is just a reflection of who
don't
you
be
are.
That guy.
Yes.
Like, don't be the guy that needs to score another point.
Yeah.
But also don't be the guy that has to like.
Definitely don't be. The same
That's
way
grosser, 'cause that's an actual rule.
The same way I would. I said this. I got to this place on the challenge where I realized that by jumping in to break up the fight, I was just as like involved in the
chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
And feeding into it. That if what I really wanted was people to not do that, this was not how I was going to do that. And I needed to just let people, show themselves who they are and let everybody judge.
Let it play out.
Yeah,
right.
Who am I to be policing?
Why am I inserting myself?
If I'm the ref, then I could go, if that's my job, my literal job is to police the game, to referee the game, then I could go over to that player and be like, here's a red card for that.
Because that
Here's
was
a yellow
actually
card.
a rule.
Yeah, that feels like...
Yeah, because this guy broke an actual rule to enforce an unwritten rule.
Yeah, that is dumb. That feels like when it feels this the same energy, that player that ran up to the guy who made the basket, as that annoying old white coach when the woman won and he was like, she didn't check she didn't do da da da, and he made a big old fucking stink about it. And
Where really you're mad that they won.
Yeah.
And you're using this other unwritten code of conduct as the reason why you're going to act out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, and look at them. I'm going to talk about how they can't control their feelings. As I'm not controlling my feelings, get the fuck out of here. Or, you know, they are going to say, I would not do any of this, but, you know.
Right. I just thought it was an interesting premise.
Yeah.
And that it inspired thoughts for me about like the ways that quote unquote unwritten rules are used against certain people and are like a proxy for other things. But then at the same time, like I do get like, what? Calm down. You don't need to be scoring right now.
And a lot of times these quote unquote unwritten rules are actually written rules because they at least to a certain extent, and then sometimes just not followed. And then if there are written rules that don't make any damn sense, like having to wear all white, blatant tennis, then that we could push back on and we could fight and, you know, ask some questions about and be like, why do we do that? Explain yourself.
Okay. So. Well, good work, everybody.
There you go. Case closed.
Case closed. We are done. I hope you enjoyed. Please go to thebraincandypodcast.com and use our candy codes for anything that you like from our partners. It helps us so much. And leave a 5-star review because that helps us too.
We love those.
And we love you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.